This is TWiT.
All right. Last week on the show, we talked about the news that the Pixel 4a had released, or not rather, let me back up, not released. It had been announced. It's going to be released on August 20th, I believe. So you still have a little more than a week to wait if you want to spend $350 on a very mid-range device by Google. And then I ended up getting a device, the Pixel 4a, like a day later. So it came a day late to miss the show, unfortunately.
It's our life story here at All About Android, by the way.
I know. It's just the way it goes. But I have it. I've been playing around with it. I'm going to be giving this the full review treatment on Hands on Tech next Monday. But I've been playing around with this Pixel 4a quite a bit. I mean, I've got my SIM card loaded in there. I've been relying on it. And so far, I mean, I feel like the reviews have been incredibly positive on this, as they were to the 3A last year. And as I definitely consider 3A one of the best phones, in my opinion, of last year for a variety of reasons. This phone is right there as well. Like, I got to say, I'm pretty verklempt. Like, it's just been a great device, and I haven't really missed not being on my 4XL as a result. So just real quick kind of like first look. It has the plastic unibody design that is really kind of, I don't know, dull, I suppose, but you're not buying this for style points, let's just say. It still kind of has the Pixel quality to it, but it is a plastic unibody design. I took it camping, and I definitely got jostled around a few different times, and it took a beating, and I couldn't really find any marks on it. I thought it was a good kind of endurance test while I was camping to rely on this. I was pretty happy with that. 5.8-inch AMOLED 1080p display, 60 hertz refresh, so they're not doing anything fancy with like a high refresh rate or anything. Has the Snapdragon 730 on the inside, 6 gigs of RAM for $350. I feel like that is incredibly reasonable. And then 128 gigs of storage. So you don't find multiple configurations of the Pixel 4a. It's just this one configuration that I have in my hands right here. 12.2 megapixel rear facing camera, single lens up there, f1.7 aperture, and then an 8 megapixel front facing camera, which is the little hole punch camera up at the top. And then, you know, a little bit of the extras like the headphone jack. So it has an analog headphone port up at the top, USB-C, bottom firing speakers, 18-watt fast charge. And yeah, I mean, this phone is, if you've been considering waiting for the 4A because you knew that the 3A was as solid as it was for its price, well, then you're probably delighted to know that this is $50 less than the 3A was. So it's $350, and it gets most of the things right. And on my early review anyways, it gets most of the things right that it really needed to land, right? The camera's great. It's svelte. It's light. It takes a beating. The display is sharp. The battery life is excellent. So I'm going to give this a full review here very soon. But I just wanted to kind of get this on the show briefly and just say, like, I'm really enjoying using this device, and I don't miss my other device. And I know from my perspective that when I'm using a device and I find myself not missing, like not wanting to go back and be like, but I just want to go home, then it's a good device, and I'm pretty happy with it so far. So, yeah, that's the Pixel 4a. You guys got any experience or any questions with it?
I got to admit, seeing it up close like this, it really does seem like the 2020 Nexus 5.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's simple, understated, black, just, you know, it gets the job done. It just, you know, like, I don't know, it does have echoes of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it has the fingerprint sensor on the back. I will say, like, I've actually kind of missed the face scanning that I have on the Pixel 4 XL. I realize how solid I feel like they've dialed it in on the 4XL. Having said that, I don't mind having a rear-facing fingerprint sensor at all. I definitely prefer it over the in-display fingerprint sensor, so I'm happy that they went with that. It's nice to kind of, it feels a little retro because, and it doesn't take long for things to fall into retro land. It wasn't very long ago that we had rear-facing fingerprint sensors on everything. But yeah, and also like the feeling of the phone kind of, when I first took it out of the box and put it in my hands, like it's just a lot smaller. It kind of felt like my instant reaction was, oh, this feels like a Nexus phone from like, the days of yore. So for whatever that's worth, but I don't know. I think it's a pretty nice device. So
did they have to just make it in black? They couldn't just throw a color chip into the manufacturing liquid, just make it.
Well, I mean, they have a color power button. It's like a very, very, very light kind of blue. I don't know if it even comes out.
It looks white. Yeah, it looks white on that. But
in person, it's kind of like a very light turquoise blue. So there's your color splash.
I guess that's black is whoa.
Very close to Jason.
So yeah.
Well.
So we'll have more on that.
Those Amazon sales were quite, that new, like I did do a double take on on when I saw the headline that, it's the number one best-selling phone by Google, which I think is a little hyperbole and everybody kind of getting all crazy for it. But the reaction was, it's undeniable.
Yeah. Number one bestseller on Amazon once it was put up for pre-order. Yeah. Are you tempted, Damien? I know you're on the 4XL as I am. But
yes, I've actually pre-ordered from Amazon US, so that's hopefully going to come and get imported soon. So obviously in the UK we've got to wait until October. So my US-based colleague is going to handle the review, but hopefully it'll come shortly after the actual release date as well for me here in the UK.
Right on.
Now, are pixels a thing in I apologize, I'm not like totally privy to this. But are pixels like a thing in the UK? Like, do you pre-COVID, when you would go out, would you see them in people's hands? Was it a device that people would consider?
I always see it as kind of, if I see a pixel in public, it's still quite shocking. I still think obviously in English speaking markets, from my own experiences, it still seems to be Samsung Galaxy, iPhone. There doesn't seem to be much in the way. I think in the UK we've kind of had a little bit of over the last few years, we had a push from Huawei and Xiaomi and the cheaper brands, but for the most part it's still predominantly iPhone and Samsung Galaxy devices. I mean, it's a shame. I think it's mainly the way the carriers push them in the UK, but there has been a definite encroachment of pixels since the 3A. I've seen a lot more 3A devices, and if I give people a recommendation, it would usually be the 3A. I've got a couple of my friends are Pixel owners anyways, but that's kind of like who you kind of hang around with we all tend to like the same things. So, but yeah, the Pixel brand is one of those things that I think is slowly starting to make inroads. But again, it's always difficult to tell, especially in the post-COVID world where you're not able to go out in public as much as you'd potentially like to. But yeah, hopefully we'll see some changes in the next few months, and maybe the 4A, when it comes out in October over here in the UK and in most of Western Europe, we might see some more people kind of jump on the Pixel bandwagon and really enjoying the camera.